What's going on, guys? It's Sensei Pink, and I'm coming back to you guys for my review on the Kiss Bed episode 65 and a small recap on episode 64. Now, before we get into it, make sure that you go follow me on both Instagram and Twitter and hit that subscribe and notification button to see more weekly videos. Now, to recap episode 64, basically after Sara runs into Oliver, she tries to explain her surprise in seeing him, but then Oliver walks away when he sees his sister Meg and Joe walking out the apartment. Joe, who sees Sara, is basically like, sorry you had to see that. And he sees that she's taking out the trash, offers to walk her to the trash, and while they're walking to the trash, he's basically talking about how hard things are for him and how he should be a big brother to Oliver, and how, he's sort of blaming himself and just really laying it out all on the table for Sara. Basically, when these two finally get downstairs into the trash, Joe sort of states he's the older brother and it's his responsibility to make the right decisions, even if he doesn't know which ones are which. And Sarah's just like, Joe, you're basically putting too much responsibility on your shoulders. Oliver's a smart kid, so I'm pretty sure he can handle certain things on his own. And just hearing him vent about his brother and caring for him really shows how much he cares about his brother. Now, in shock that Sara sees how much he cares for his brother, Sara just reiterates the fact that Joe is a great, caring guy. And she doesn't doubt for a second that when the time comes for him to figure, it all out, he'll be able to. And basically, Joe was in shock that she thinks this of him and was just like, wow, Sara, you're really great in seeing the positive in people. And basically, this is probably why he was so drawn to her. And we end that episode with him stating that's probably why he has such a big crush on her, even now, while he's sort of holding her arm or her hands, one or the other. Now, moving along to episode 65, Joe is still sort of holding her hands, and he's just I don't really need a response right now, but he's just happy to have her there with him because it's tough to go through things alone, and it just is nice to have someone who completely understands what he's going through. As Joe is saying this, he sort of gets distracted when he looks up and he sees Oliver passing by, and he's just like, oh, Oliver, you're back. And Oliver looks over at them, and Oliver's like, don't we have enough problems? Go get a room. And turns his head real sassy and walks away. Then we get Joe basically telling Sara he didn't mean that, and then he begins going after Oliver hey, what happened to Meg, blah blah blah, and the two sort of fade out and we're left with Sara. Sara then begins making her way back up to her apartment, thinking about just what Oliver said, Joe's confession, and how she somewhat thinks it just sounds like Joe is happy to have someone there, but she's not sure because he could have wanted to say something else, but she didn't say anything, and just a ton of thoughts are running through her head at the moment. Now, in her room, she debates on whether she should call Vicky, but of course Vicky's not gonna be of help in this situation. So as she's just going through the thoughts, she ends up calling Patrick. She then basically just tells Patrick what his arch nemesis has done because she can't tell Vicky. And Patrick's just like, did he ask you out? And she's just like, no. And we then end this episode with Patrick asking Sara what she's doing this Saturday. Now, y'all, this episode was something else, but I can't lie to you guys, I'm so ahead, so I'm going to be making my videos very soon for episodes 66 and 67. So yeah, I'm in quarantine. Thought I had COVID. I did turn out negative, so today is my last day in quarantine. So I figured, why not? Why not make these videos? So I'm going to see you guys next week. If you don't know what's going to happen, or if you're not ahead, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure that you like this video if you enjoyed watching. And also, go follow me on both Instagram and Twitter, even though I haven't been using them. And finally, guys, hit that subscribe and notification button to see more of me, Sensei Pink.